tend to thrive when they are well connected with other people. And that maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have children, maybe you have grandchildren, but being really, really well connected nourishes you, mentally and physically.
People often complain about no time to cook. So this actually involves no cooking at all. And you're going to get all your macronutrients. You're going to get protein and carbohydrates. You're going to get fats as well, and you're going to get your greens.
So what's this one? What's this exercise
That's working your back. That is your upper back.
Got it. So all of you can try this at home.
These are all exercises that are very easy for people to do at home.
From the Zoomerplex in historic Liberty Village, the Zoomer with Marissa Semkiw.
Welcome to the Zoomer. I'm Marissa Semkiw. Today we discuss the age-old challenge, healthy aging. Thanks to medicine, better nutrition, better education, we're living longer and healthier than previous generations. Centenarians today are the fastest growing age group in Canada. By 2051, there could be nearly 40,000. This is a triumph. But there are ways we can ensure those later years are healthier years as well. And it isn't about taking a dozen supplements and vitamins every day. It's about doing a few basic things that can allow us to live well. On today's show, I'm joined by a group of health and wellness experts, including a Zoomer husband and wife team whose example might just inspire you to get moving. We'll do a deep dive into strategies for squeezing more out of life, and it starts with goals. So let's tee up the topic.
2018, a new year. That means 52 weeks, 365 days, 8,760 hours, 525,600 minutes to jettison those bad habits and start fresh. Whether it's to get fit, spend less, or read more, the key is don't ask for the moon when it comes to your resolutions. Be reasonable. 30% of Canadians make New Year's resolutions, and 73% will break them. But don't worry, here are some things to consider. People who have quit smoking have usually tried 8 to 11 times before. Healthy weight loss happens at 1 to 2 pounds per week. And breaking bad habits takes a minimum of 21 days. So if you feel your resolve failing, remember, as long as you're trying, you're still ahead of those who aren't.
Isn't that so true? So we're talking about healthy aging. Aging well means taking care of both the body and the mind. It's both physical and mental. I'm joined by Bruce Small, a registered psychotherapist. Bruce, thank you for being here. Okay, so let's talk about how the mind plays a role in aging well. Why is that so important?
Because it's essentially who you are. That's the center from which you operate.
But what does that look like, keeping that healthy for our audience?
Keeping that healthy involves using it. Basically, as we age, it becomes more and more important to use everything, the mind and the body.
And I think, one of the things, too, as we age, there are a lot of people that struggle with health problems, so it's important to stay positive. But I think that can be a struggle for a lot of people, especially if they're dealing with failing health or maybe deaths in the family, so on and so forth. So how do they stay positive then?
They stay positive by processing. Now, what I mean by that is that anything that happens to you, talk to somebody about it. If we let it create a backlog, if we let it accumulate, if the distress compounds, then we end up feeling bad. And that affects us physically, that affects us mentally. But just whatever happens to you, talk to somebody.
But it's almost as if, is it as if you need to almost feel bad before you feel better? Because talking about it can bring back negative feelings.
If you get used to it, talking to people is just it's a natural function that humans have been doing for thousands of years. And it's not necessarily, I think it's a myth that if we stop talking about something, it'll go away. You're better off talking about it than letting it sit inside and brew.
So don't allow that distress to build up.
Exactly.
Okay, so what are some of the other ways in which our audience can be sure to age well?
Well, I think one of the simplest ways is think about being yourself. If you start leading a life where you have to portray yourself as something else than you are, then you're likely to be less happy. It's going to be stressful for you on your body and on your mind. And by the time we become aging boomers or Zoomers, you haven't got much time left. You've got to do it now.
How do you avoid situations like that then?
Well, I think it behooves us to sort of speak up, and I think this generation has been good at it. You know, when there is pressure from the outside to be somebody you're not, when there's pressure because of who you are or your sexual orientation or anything like that, to hide, you know, don't.
You know, speaking of sexual orientation, I have read recently that as we age, sex becomes that much more important. I mean, the physical act of sex. Is that true?
Well, I think it's important at any time of life, but the whole point is that you have a body, enjoy it, use it. Whatever your body is, whatever your sexuality is, enjoy it immensely.
And so, you know, being in tune with that and being physical is part of aging well. And why
Part
is
of
that?
aging well, I think I've sort of generated a theory that as we age, we should get more and more physical. Because when you're younger, you can get away with stuff. You can get away with some bad nutrition and some, you know, couch potato kind of behavior. But as you age, if you don't exercise everything, then you begin to lose things.
And lastly, you've written that lots of love and seeking fulfilling intimate relationships is very important. What do you mean by that?
What I mean by that is that people tend to thrive when they are well connected with other people. And that maybe you have a spouse, maybe you have children, maybe you have grandchildren. But being really, really well connected nourishes you, mentally and physically.
You know, it's interesting. You know, I'm so curious about the impact of that the family has on your health and also on your longevity. Do you think that you can speak to that?
I can speak on both sides on that because it depends on your family. You know? You know, there are some families that literally drive you crazy. There are other families that you want to be with because they nourish you. And if you're lucky enough, you'll have the latter kind.
Okay, fantastic. Well, Bruce, thank you for being here.
Pleasure.
When we come back, we'll hear from two Zoomers who defy stereotypes. And later, the extraordinary story of an 89-year-old woman you won't want to miss. Stay tuned.
At 70 years young, they're proving that age is just a number.
One more, yeah!
Welcome back. As you can see, I've put my fitness gear on, and it's time to work out because the benefits of exercise are extensive regardless of age. Zed News videographer Darren Maharaj caught up with two Zoomers who reveal their secrets to being sexy at 70.
Well, if you're impressed by the muscles on display here at Totem Life Science, wait until you meet Joe and Shirley from Belleville, Ontario.
At 70 years young, they're proving that age is just a number.
One more, yeah!
A number of years ago, I was overweight. Although I worked out, my eating habits weren't the best. Also, although I thought they were. I started doing some research. It was a revelation, really, knowing how bad sugar was for you.
In here we've got all our clean ingredients. You've got coconut milk, slivered almonds.
Over a period of time, educating myself, the weight came off, I became healthier, much more energized, very much more energized.
We've got sunflower seed, pumpkin seeds, coconut, and those are for the protein bars.
Because I worked out all the time, I figured I could eat anything I want until Shirley got me going on, hey, you got to clean up your act the way you eat.
I started explaining to him the pitfalls with sugar and salt and buying processed foods.
101, 102.
Joe and Shirley are just two of the greatest clients that we could ask for in this gym. They're so warm, so generous. They're always giving out advice, clean dieting tips, lots of recipes and things like that.
Right on.
When I'm 70, I hope I look like that. That's just really amazing. That's impressive. Just the dedication, the bodies, it's really good.
So Joe and Shirley are here with me now. You guys, thank you for being here. I gotta ask, how old are you?
74.
72.
I mean, don't they look fantastic? It's incredible. It's incredible. So you've got a full body workout routine planned. I'm going to try and keep up with you.
Okay.
I don't think I can, actually, looking at that video. But what's the first thing that we need to keep in mind when we're about to work out?
Okay, the first thing that I think we need to look at is the proper positioning if you're going to work out.
So number one, you want to keep your knees nice and soft.
We'll do it.
Your abdomen, abs really nice and tight. Your back is in neutral position. Shoulders are back, and you're looking straight ahead. The other thing is you want to enjoy what you're doing. Don't forget to keep breathing, because a lot of people stop breathing when they're working out. And focus on the muscle that you're working.
Okay, well, let's have some fun working out then.
We're going to start with some chest exercises. So let's get our weights. So we're going to do a bit of a variation. Joe's going to use the bench. We're going to be standing up. So we're going to do a chest press. So your weights are out in front. Just take them out a little bit. Bring them in and squeeze. Squeeze.
This one's
3.
tough.
And there's number 4. Next, we're going to go into some flies. Another chest exercise. So further out, bring it in.
And so these exercises
That's for
build up your
chest.
chest.
Build up your chest.
All right. And why is that important as we get older, especially?
Well, you know, you need all your muscles working for you. It keeps you strong. It allows you to carry things, do things that a lot of people have difficulty doing in this day and age. Next, we're going to get into some rows. We're going to sit down, Marissa. And we're going to take our weights out in front, bring them all the way back, and squeeze.
So what's this one? What's this
That's
exercise
working
working?
your back.
back.
That
This
is
is
your
back,
upper
yes.
back.
Got it. So all of you can try this at home.
These are all
Squeeze.
exercises that are very easy for people to do at home. Okay, up we go. We're going to do what we call now, it's a pendulum swing. This will work your lower back. So you're going to come down a slight bend. This is where you're going to really activate those abs to help support your back. And
we're only doing 4 reps, but how many reps should our audience be doing if they were to attempt this?
8 to 12 is the recommended.
And number 4, and come up nice and slow. Don't rush it, because you'll get a head rush, and you don't want that to happen.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go into some shoulder work. So for shoulders, we're going to do some front raises. So knees are soft, abs are engaged, only at shoulder height. Please don't go any higher, because then you can damage your shoulder.
And why is it so important to keep your shoulders strong?
Well, your shoulders are the main part that keeps your arms working. They, you know, I mean, they're the pivotal part of your body to keep your upper body working. And tricep. Tricep is a very important muscle as we get older. It's a muscle that will help you get out of a chair that has arm rest. It will help you get yourself out of bed. It'll help you get off the floor. So it's important to keep that tricep muscle nice and strong.
And it'll also make your arms look very nice,
Well,
too.
yeah, you want a nice...
Yeah.
You can
know.
tell by the triceps.
Okay, so we're going to do some kickbacks. So arms tucked in, back, squeeze, and bring it back.
You can really feel it.
Squeeze.
Yeah, really feels.
Bring it back. Squeeze and back. And one last one. And now we have to work the other arm, of course.
Now, what's the difference between what we're doing, Shirley, and what Joe's doing on the bench?
No difference. He's just got
Just
a
a different
bench.
angle.
Just
Working the muscle differently
Yeah.
at a different angle.
Yeah.
Okay.
he's got to catch up. So while he's catching,
Oh, you guys did this already?
while he's catching up, we'll get ready and do some chair squats. So we'll put our weights down. So
This
for
is an easy one because you can do it in your kitchen.
Oh yeah.
You can do it in
The
front
only
of the
thing
TV.
I would say, make sure that your chair is secure, even put it up against the wall, and don't use rollers, casters on your chairs, please. That's
Yeah,
a big
you'll-
no-no.
Yeah.
So feet are shoulder width apart. And the important thing here is bend at the hip to sit and come out.
Should we touch the chair?
Yes, just touch it. Don't sit on it. It's a touch.
You might never get up.
This is for your
That's-
quadriceps too, by the way. Front part of your legs.
Yeah.
And 4. Great. Next, we're going to go into some calf workout. So we're going to turn our chair around a bit here. So standing nice and tall, up on our toes, and squeeze. 1, 2. These are all very simple exercises that you can do at home. You don't need much equipment. Next, we're going to reverse this and work on our shins. So lift the toes and tap down.
That's so true, Shirley, because a lot of people don't want to buy gym memberships. They can be very expensive.
Yes.
So with 2 5-pound or 10-pound weights, you can do all of these exercises from the comfort of your home and a chair, which I'm sure you already have.
Yep. Okay. And we're going to finish off with some abs. So sitting in our chair.
Also another exercise you can do in front of the TV.
And I like to cross my arms on my chest and use your abs. Back, pull up. Slowly back. Use your abs.
Now
Pull
this is
yourself
working
back.
the upper part of our...
Yes.
Upper abs, yeah. When you move your upper body, you work your upper
3.
abs.
And there's number 4. Next, we're going to do some crunches. So, lifting our knee. Right knee starting up, up. 1. And left.
And this is working lower abs?
Lower abs,
Yes.
yep.
All right. So this is a full body workout that if you were to do every day, you would look like Joe and Shirley.
You don't want to do it every day. At least every second day or third day. But, you know, you start slowly and build up to it.
Now, I have to ask, how does your workout routine differ from, say, a 30-year-old, for example? I mean, I know it's actually tougher than my workout routine, so.
Well, I think we've been doing this for a long time. But in the last couple of years, we've sort of reduced the weights that we had been using. We've gone into more repetitions.
Okay, fantastic. Well, I hope all of you have learned some tips today from Joe and Shirley. Guys, thank you so much for being here. When we come back, we'll discuss the top food trends for aging gracefully. Stay tuned.
There are certain sugars that are in beans that are hard for our intestines to break down. So when it reaches your large intestine and you're not absorbing it properly, it can create gas. If you get a little gas, it's okay. If you're clearing a room, beans probably aren't the best for you.
Welcome back. You can't stop yourself from aging, but you can make that trip a little easier by eating well. Here to discuss superfoods for healthy aging is Julie Mancuso, a Toronto-based nutritionist. Thank you for being here. You know, I think eating healthy can sometimes feel like a chore, but it need not be.
It doesn't have to be at all.
So what have you brought? I mean, I know you've brought some major superfoods that we should be including in our diet. What should we start with?
So we're going to start with sweet potatoes, and these I recommend much more so than a white potato.
Why is that?
So you can see the color is very bright orange, and that means that it's rich in beta-carotene. Beta-carotene transfers into vitamin A when it enters your body. Vitamin A is excellent for eye health. So macular degeneration, cataracts, this is a great preventative for that.
Are they still healthy when you eat them in the form of a French fry? A sweet potato fry?
Not exactly.
Do they lose their nutrients that way?
Just a tad. But you can chop them yourself and bake them in the oven with olive oil, more of a heart-healthy oil, and have them baked, or you can put them on the barbecue or just roast them in the oven as is with skin on as well, or off.
Fantastic. Okay, and what's the next one? Blueberries.
So blueberries are a common fruit that a lot of people do purchase. They're great for throwing into smoothies, great on oatmeal, great in yogurt. And the reason why I chose blueberries is they're very high on the antioxidant scale. So all fruits contain vitamins, minerals, potassium, magnesium, but I like blueberries because the antioxidant level is very high. And what antioxidants do is they basically fight off free radicals, which are basically the bad guys that enter our bodies every day, whether that comes from a poor diet, through pollution, cigarette smoke. The antioxidants in blueberries will fight off those free radicals.
Now, what's the difference between fresh, frozen, canned fruit?
Right. So fresh is always best, and providing it's in season. So sometimes you'll see in the grocery store with produce in general, even though you'll find something fresh, it may not look that great. May not look very fresh. So what you'll want to do is you can resort definitely to the frozen. When you're buying frozen without any sugar or salt added, you are still getting the nutrients there. They are intact. Canned, I would stay away from, because if you think about it, for a piece of fruit or vegetable to sit on a shelf for about a year or two, not much nutrient value, and what's keeping it from going bad.
So fresh is best. All right. And then you've brought kale with you.
So the reason I chose kale is it's a superfood because it is part of the cruciferous family. So that takes part with broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts. These are very high in phytonutrients, and they're great for protecting against cancer.
And also relatively inexpensive. I think you can get a whole bunch for, say, $1.69 or something like that.
Yes, and they actually contain a lot more vitamin C than actually an orange.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that.
A cup of kale is more vitamin C than an orange.
I often put frozen kale in my smoothies in the morning.
Perfect.
Again, does it have less nutrients if it's frozen?
No, when you buy fruits that are flash frozen, that means that it's picked when the nutrients are most ripe and frozen, so they stay intact. It's only if it's canned where they tend to deteriorate.
All right, okay, and then we've got some beans here.
Yes.
Beans, tell us about beans.
The reason I like beans is it's basically a whole food. You have complex carbohydrates, very rich in fiber, which we probably all know that, and rich in protein, so it's a plant-based protein, so great for vegetarian and vegans to get their protein in. And it's also very high in iron, so anyone low in iron and they don't eat red meats, they can enjoy beans.
And then you've also brought some dried beans with you as well.
Yes.
What's the difference between the two?
So these are canned beans, these are dried beans. So if you're looking for more natural, the dried beans would be your choice, although it takes quite a long time to cook. These are definitely more inexpensive than the canned beans. The convenience is the canned beans.
Right, you can eat the canned beans, right out of the can.
Right.
Now I have to ask, why does it give you gas?
Okay, so there are certain sugars that are in beans that are hard for our intestines to break down. We don't have the enzymes to break down that sugar. So when it reaches your large intestine and you're not absorbing it properly, it can create gas.
Okay, but we need not be afraid of that because beans are very good for our diet.
Yes, so if you get a little gas, it's okay. If you're clearing a room, beans probably aren't the best for you.
All right, and then you brought lastly some pumpkin seeds with you.
Yes.
What's the importance of pumpkin seeds and why should we include it in our diet?
So the reason I chose pumpkin seeds, although all nuts and seeds are excellent source of protein, I like these because they're rich in fats, omega-3 and omega-6, which are very heart healthy. Contain zinc. Zinc is hugely important for boosting the immune system. It's also great for protecting against prostate cancer, so great for males to intake a couple tablespoons a day. Also high in magnesium, which helps reduce blood pressure and also helps reduce cholesterol as well.
Now, how much should we be eating of each of these daily? Can you have too much?
You can have too much of anything, so it's always about balance. So typically a serving of pumpkin seeds would be about 2 tablespoons. Beans would only be half a cup. The greens are pretty much unlimited. Again, raw greens can sometimes cause digestive issues, so cooked may be better for you, but a couple cups would be good. But we are aiming for at least 5-6 servings of vegetables a day, not including fruit. So we do have to definitely increase the amount of vegetables. Fruit, so the berries about a cup, and a sweet potato depending on your weight and your goals about 1/2 to 1.
Now the best part about all of these ingredients is you can put them together into a lovely, delicious, tasty treat. And
Yes.
I know that you're about to do that, so why don't you walk us through that?
So people often complain about no time to cook. So this actually involves no cooking at all. And you're gonna get all your macronutrients. You're gonna get protein and carbohydrates. You're gonna get fats as well, and you're gonna get your greens, okay? So we have kale salad. We are gonna throw in some beans for our protein. We are gonna leave the dried beans alone because that probably won't taste good. We are gonna throw in some pumpkin seeds. And then we are gonna throw in tomatoes. So tomatoes are very good as well. Fruit, vegetable, people call them both, but they're great for adding flavor and color to your salad as well. And then we're gonna top it off with some olive oil. I'm Italian, so I have a heavy hand when it comes to olive oil, quite generous. And then we're going to add apple cider vinegar.
Now, I know that there are a lot of health benefits with apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
I have, on occasion, not every day, but taken shots of apple cider vinegar
Yes.
because I read that that was something that was healthy to do. Though it doesn't make you feel great in the moment.
How are you taking the apple cider vinegar?
Straight.
Okay, so it's not alcohol. Well, it is, but it's fermented, okay? So you actually want to mix it with warm water. So it's actually very good for relieving heartburn. But, and I've done this myself, I've taken it straight and actually created heartburn. So I've learned that you need to put it in warm water for it to dissolve better and absorb better.
And then you can take, I mean, how much should you be consuming apple cider vinegar regularly?
It is good, a tablespoon, usually a tablespoon a day. So some people like to do a teaspoon before every meal to help with digestion, or you could just do it first thing in the morning with all your other supplements. But it does have a lot of benefits. If you get apple cider with mother, you may have seen with mother, and people are probably wondering what that means. The mother is actually the potent part in apple cider vinegar. It contains proteins, it contains enzymes, and it contains probiotics, which are great for your gut. So this is good for metabolism, it is good for digestion, good for heartburn. So a lot of good benefits with apple cider vinegar.
Okay, all right. Well, Julie, thank you for being here. This is fantastic. When we come back, you won't believe the benefits of removing clutter from your life. Stay tuned.
It's beneficial for the client. It's also beneficial for their children. So do I want to leave a bunch of stuff to my children and have them deal with all the anxiety?
Welcome back. Well, we don't often associate clutter as affecting our well-being, but in fact, it can have a negative impact on us. Here to discuss this and to share some decluttering tips is Brad Borg, founder of In-N-Out Organizing. Brad, thank you for being here. Let's talk about some of the benefits of getting rid of this stuff.
Okay. Well, I mean, getting rid of the stuff really helps you clear your mind. I find when I can't find something, it gives me great anxiety. I mean, I even lose things. I even lose my keys. I mean, I sometimes, you know, come home from a really crazy day and I'm a bit absent-minded. So I try to set up little stations for myself so I know where everything is, so I don't have sleepless nights.
But when we think about, you know, healthy aging, why is it so important that we go through this process?
Well, I don't think it's not just, it's beneficial for the client, it's also beneficial for their children. We're all going to leave. I mean, we can all count on that death and taxes, right? I mean, the old cliche, it's all going to happen to us. So do I want to leave a bunch of stuff to my children and have them deal with all the anxiety? Do I want to keep passing it on from generation to generation, which I actually have seen in a number of cases. So it's not just for you. I mean, there's a huge benefit. It's a snowball effect.
Sure.
And just to actually have the peace of mind to know that, I mean, I just find that I'm a bit of a minimalist. I need a clear space to have a clear mind. And I think we all do.
Absolutely, that'll help with productivity.
Absolutely.
So many things. So what are some of the obvious things that we should be watching out for? I mean, you know, if you feel like you're a pack rat, then obviously give Brad a call. But, you know, what are some of the obvious things that we should be looking out for?
Well, it's funny because, you know, everybody has something that they've tried to do at one point. So crafts. We'll use crafts as an example. Say it be needlepoint, knitting, whatever. They have these grandiose ideas that they're going to learn this new kind of skill, and it's going to, you know, it's therapeutic. Well, 9 times out of 10, people give up. But I still have like all these crafting items, and they've just never got rid of them. And they're all over the house because they've tried in every room. Who knows? Same with Christmas is bad. Like, Christmas is really bad. I know you guys all have a problem with Christmas. Wrapping paper, too many decorations, reams and reams of lights. Like, really? Do we need all these? And people collect all those, you know, Hallmark and all those little, you know, things that you get in the card shop. They think it's cutesy-wootsy, but they just keep...
They accumulate.
They accumulate.
Yeah, absolutely.
And why?
You know, have you ever done I have to ask, have you ever done a purse declutter?
I have.
Have you?
No, of course I have.
I was just talking to Julie Mancuso, our nutritionist, earlier, and she said, when I clean out my purse, I feel like I've lost 10 pounds.
Yep.
So I think a lot of women in this room can probably, you know, feel the same way.
Well,
what's the first thing you say to a woman?
Well, I usually make it quite clear that, you know, I am a male. And if you have a problem with me helping you with your purse, please, I don't want to invade your personal space. But I have done it. We've just basically dumped it out on a big table because we're not dealing with little clutch purses. We're dealing with, you know, big women's sacks. Dining room table, dump it all out. Really, why do I have mints from 1965 in here? So it's just little things like it's common sense. I mean, really, do you need your life in your purse? Really, do you need to drag that around with you? What do you need for that day in your purse? Okay, you need a lipstick and a compact, and you need your keys. Maybe you need some breath mints. Maybe you need lip gloss. Whatever, hand sanitizer, some napkins or hankies if you like. So
it's a lot of things. What's the number one thing that you often hear from your clients when you go into their homes and you meet with them?
Well, the very first response normally when I walk through the door is, "Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I really don't want you to see my house this way." Well, you know what? Why'd you hire me? Like, why am I here? Right? So that's common. That's very, very common. A lot of it comes out of like kind of humility and embarrassment when I first talk to them on the phone. They're like, I really was hoping it wouldn't come to this, but I really can't take it any longer. It's affecting my relationships with my family. It's affecting my mental well-being. There's so many different
and you know what?
why.
It can be challenging too because a lot of those things are sentimental and it's hard to part with them. So if you could give one piece of advice to our audience, what would it be?
If you have like family members, if you have your children, grandchildren, whatever, and really do you need 3 sets of china or 3 sets of silverware that you've been passing down through the generations? Why don't you ask your family now if they'd like to have it before you die and the estate is dispersed? Why don't you make sure it goes to the people that really cherish it? And then let them deal with the clutter, because I'm going to be around for a while, and then they can hire me back, okay? So.
All right, well, Brad, thank you so much for being here. Don't go away. There's more to come after the break.
Just because there's a supplement out there that it says it's natural doesn't mean it's going to have a natural effect on your body. It can really interfere with whatever your health concern is and what medication you're taking.
Welcome back. We've brought all our experts back to the round table to answer some of the questions that some of our audience members have, starting with you. Ma'am, what's your name?
Sylvia Morrison.
Welcome to the round table. Thank you for being here. What's your question?
My question is, I'm someone who really enjoys food and also enjoys workout. And the question is, when I'm going to the gym, I sometimes wonder, what's the best thing to have just before my workout? And then after my workout, what's the best thing to have?
Okay, well, basically, I try not to have a heavy meal before a workout, at least an hour before. I don't consume that much. If I'm going to have anything, it's going to be something light. After my workout, I like to have a piece of fruit. I'll have an apple, a banana, just to sort of replenish.
I usually take a protein supplement after I work out, a whey isolate protein, just to get that protein back into my system.
Yeah. After I work out, I like to eat eggs. I don't know.
That's protein, yeah.
Yeah, it's protein.
Yeah,
Julie, do you have any?
Pretty much it depends on what your goals are. So if you're looking for weight loss or just weight maintenance, you always want to have a combination of good complex carbohydrates and lean protein. So doing something like a protein shake, whether it's a whey protein isolate, and isolate goes directly to your muscles. So that's the best type of whey protein to do after a workout. Or if you're vegetarian or vegan, you can do a plant-based protein. For some people who don't like powders, no problem, you can eat food. So eggs is a source of protein. If you feel you need a little bit of carbohydrates after, with a slice of whole grain toast. You definitely want to get more fibrous carbohydrates, so from vegetables. And then you want to be getting them from complex carbohydrates, so like the sweet potatoes that we showed, or brown rice or oatmeal. But you don't have to cut out carbohydrates because you don't want to end up binging then later on about it. It's all about having a sustainable diet where you can incorporate little bits of everything, complex carbohydrates, lean proteins, fruits and vegetables, so it's more sustainable and long lasting.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. Hi there. Why don't you start by telling us your name?
Beverly Reeves.
Thank you for coming to the roundtable. What's your question?
The question I have today is, on prescribed medication, is it all right to take supplemental vitamins, and do they interfere with it, with any vitamins?
So that really depends on which medication you're on and which supplements you want to take. So just because there's a supplement out there that it says it's natural, doesn't mean it's going to have a natural effect on your body. It can really interfere with whatever your health concern is and what medication you're taking. So the best thing to do is speak to your doctor about that or a healthcare practitioner, and they can look to see if there is any interaction taking the two together.
Thank you.
No problem.
Well, when we come back, my next guest says it's never too late. For what? Stay tuned to find out.
On Twitter, Dan shares his advice. Falls are the most common cause of injury for seniors. Exercise can help. It's never too late to start improving strength, balance, and flexibility. On Fight Back, co-founder of Downsizing Diva, Karen Shin, shares her tips on decluttering for the new year.
It didn't take us just a very short time to accumulate all of this stuff, so it's going to be a process. As we often say, people say to us, when's the best time to start downsizing? And of course the answer is right now, today, when you think about it. Do you have to start and do, the entire house? No, pick a shelf, pick a closet, pick a cupboard or a drawer. Just start small, but start somewhere. And I think it makes it easier if you break the project down into manageable pieces.
Keep the comments coming in. And don't forget to log on to theZoomerTV.com for full episodes and more.
Welcome back. Alma Kosala fulfilled her childhood dream at age 89, and that was to get a university degree. Zed News videographer Darren Maharaj reports.
Okay, Alma, get over here.
That's 89-year-old Alma Kosala graduating here at York University in Toronto. With congratulations in order just weeks before her 90th birthday, that makes Alma the oldest student to ever graduate from this university. In fact, she may hold the record for the entire country.
I am helping different people trying to get out of they're sitting in a chair watching television all the time. Trying to get out and socialize. We cannot be isolated. And isolation is a bad thing for the mind. We have to keep our physical bodies perfect best we can. And we have to exercise our brains too. Otherwise, I think dementia will set in very fast.
She never used her age to her advantage. She was just like one of us.
She was always so helpful. Anytime I needed some extra notes or anything like that, study buddy, she was there.
Well, as far as Guinness is concerned, the oldest graduate in the world is Shigemi Harada, who at 96 years old graduated from the Kyoto University of Art and Design. But let's not compare apples to oranges here. Shigemi received a degree in ceramic art, while Alma's degree is in gender, sexuality, and women's studies.
Maybe you'll take another course now?
No.
Enough school?
I'm going to have fun.
Joins me now. Alma, thank you for being here. I don't even know where to start. I have so many questions. Why did you decide to go back to school?
I decided after I should return. When Kurt passed away, he had cancer. Oh, and he was such a good guy. He shouldn't have died. And so he had a very happy marriage. And so I said, what am I going to do with myself now? And so I mourned before he died. I cried a lot. I thought, well, I have to get with it, pull out my socks and get with it, girlie. I gave myself a good lecture. I said, let's do something with this girl's life. So I decided to return to university. And my sister-in-law, Kurt's sister, had her PhD degree in English and in Germany. And then I thought, well, my friends, most of them had university degrees, and I've got to do something here with this life. So here I am.
So here you are. And now it's been 6 months since you graduated.
Yeah, right.
What are you doing with all your time now?
Oh, don't mention it. I moved to a smaller unit, downsized from 1,537 square feet in the condominium to 1,247. And I still have an ensuite bathroom, 2 bedrooms. I converted 1 bedroom into a den. And then I had this surgery on my eyelid, and a couple of little cysts on my eyelid. And the ophthalmologist said, don't bend over. Well, how in the world am I going to feed my cat? He said, oh, you can do that. So, well.
Now you can tell in that video that you made a lot of friends when you were on campus.
Oh, yeah,
a lot of those, the ladies that were interviewed were saying how important you were to them. A study buddy, they called you. Have you kept in touch with any of them?
No. I don't. Honest to Pete, I've even forgotten their names.
Oh no. I'm sure they haven't forgotten yours.
Yeah, we've had fun though. We'd sit and they'd talk about their boyfriends, and of course I had some friends too. And it started with M, male friends sometimes, and then yeah, it was great. And when you walk along, you see your professor, he'd give me a high five. Okay, so I'd give a high five, you know, going down the corridor, and I learned a lot, and I learned that expanded my memory so much. I've been helping a lot of people subliminally because senior citizens, I try to get them up and off their butt instead of watching television all day. Let's go down for coffee, or let's go out for tea, you know. And have you ever thought of taking a course and that kind of thing? Because I think if you do want to expand your brain, I think university is the only way.
So will you go back to school after this, or are you done?
I think only something that's worthwhile and enjoy life and do exercises, and then just enjoy company and travel and walk the stairway like I've been doing the stairwells in the condominium. But you know, the rewards are great, and victory, you have victory knowing that you really did accomplish something. You really did, and I did. My computer crashed so much.
All right, well, Alma, you're an absolute inspiration. I hope you are able to inspire, I know that you will inspire so many people to keep their brains active and to do what you've done. So thank you so much for coming in.
Oh, there's victory everywhere when you achieve your goal.
Yes,
Go
absolutely.
for it, girls. Go for it, guys.
All right, well, as always, thank you to everyone for being here and for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. For now, it's time to zoom out.